Kayla Emerson checked her phone again. 6:47 p.m. 17 minutes late. She sat alone at a small corner table inside the Maple Avenue coffee shop, her hands wrapped around a mug of chamomile tea that had long gone cold. Around her, the cafe hummed with quiet conversations and soft jazz. Couples leaned close, laughing, sharing moments. Kayla was the only one waiting alone. She told herself she'd give it 5 more minutes. Just 5. Then she'd text Diane, the colleague who had convinced her to come, and admit that blind dates weren't for her. Maybe they never had been. For 2 years, Kayla had poured herself into her veterinary practice, using long hours and exhaustion as an excuse to keep her heart guarded. Tonight was supposed to be different. Just coffee. Just one chance. But disappointment was already creeping in. At 6:51 p.m., the bell above the door chimed. Kayla looked up, hope flickering, only to see 2 little girls walk in. They couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Identical. Curly brown hair bouncing with every step. Matching red jackets. Bright green eyes scanning the room with serious determination. And then, those eyes locked onto her. The girls walked straight to Kayla's table like tiny soldiers on a mission. The slightly taller one stopped in front of her and asked, very seriously, "Are you Miss Kayla?" Kayla blinked. "Yes, I'm Daisy," the girl said proudly, pointing to her sister. "This is Hazel. Our daddy's sorry he's late." The world tilted. Daddy? Before Kayla could ask another question, the girls pulled out the chair across from her and climbed up. "Our daddy doesn't know we're here," Hazel whispered, guilt flickering across her face. Kayla's eyes widened. "He doesn't." "But he is sorry," Daisy insisted. "He had a work emergency." Slowly, the story unfolded. Their father, Matthew Caldwell, had been called to a construction site at the last minute. A problem with the foundation of a new library. Something serious. Something he couldn't ignore. They'd overheard him talking about a very important date at 6:30. They'd seen the smiley face he'd drawn on the calendar. They'd watched him iron his shirt, something he apparently never did. So the girls made a plan. They convinced their babysitter to bring them to the coffee shop, because they didn't want Kayla to think he didn't care. As Kayla listened, something warm settled in her chest. She ordered the girls hot chocolate with extra whipped cream. They smiled so wide it felt like sunshine had entered the cafe. When Kayla gently asked about their mom, the air shifted. "She went to heaven 2 years ago," Daisy said quietly. "A sickness in her brain," Hazel added. Kayla reached across the table and held Hazel's hand. Their father, they explained, did everything himself now. Learned to braid hair from YouTube videos. Burned grilled cheese sandwiches until he finally got them right. Sang their mom's favorite songs every night, even though his voice cracked. Kayla had come for coffee. Instead, she was sitting across from 2 brave little girls who carried grief and love far beyond their years. When Kayla suggested bringing dinner to their dad at the construction site, the twins lit up with excitement. And that's how a failed blind date turned into a drive toward a floodlit construction zone, Chinese food balance on small laps, and anticipation buzzing in the air. They found Matthew in a temporary office trailer, rolling up blueprints, exhaustion etched into his posture. When he opened the door and saw his daughters, then Kayla, he froze. Shock, fear, confusion, then relief. Apologies spilled from him, but Kayla only smiled. The girls proudly presented dinner. Matthew laughed, really laughed, and the sound softened everything. They ate together in that small trailer, surrounded by blueprints and take-out boxes, and something unexpected happened. Connection. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet understanding. Saturday morning pancakes followed. Then school plays, pumpkin patches, butterfly costumes, tree houses built from grief and hope. Kayla didn't just fall in love with Matthew. She fell in love with the life they were building, with the way Daisy and Hazel trusted her, with the way Matthew loved his daughters, with patience, humility, and devotion. 6 months later, Matthew brought Kayla back to the same coffee shop. This time, he wasn't late. He knelt, voice trembling, and asked her to marry him, not just for himself, but for the family they had become. When Kayla said yes, 2 little girls burst through the door cheering, tears and laughter colliding, because they had known all along. 1 year later, Beneath golden autumn light, Kayla stood in a simple white dress while Daisy and Hazel walked down the aisle in butterfly dresses, carrying a rose for the mother who would always be part of their story. Kayla hadn't gone to that coffee shop looking for a family. She went looking for coffee, and walked out with everything. Because sometimes love doesn't arrive on time. Sometimes it's 17 minutes late, carried in by two brave little girls who refuse to let happiness slip away. Thank you for watching Classic Stories. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that remind us how powerful compassion truly is.